All right, it is 10 o'clock Pacific time, so I think we are going to get started with our meeting today. So thanks everyone for joining us for this new meeting in the Field Virtual Training Series. This is part of our spring virtual training series that's all about citizen science and Eclipse programming. Today we're going to be going over getting started with citizen science at your library for the upcoming eclipses, sharing some resources out for you, and having a really good time. This webinar is co-sponsored between SciStarter and the Space Science Institute, specifically the StarNet Library Network, with generous funding from the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation and NASA at my library. So our presenters today, I'm going to let everyone go around and introduce themselves. My name is Dylan Connolly. I'm an education specialist at the Space Science Institute, and my pronouns are he and they. And then I'll pass this off to the rest of our presenters to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. Happy Citizen Science Month. My name is Tara Cox. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Assistant Director of Programs at the National Girls Collaborative Project, and I also am the Director of the National Citizen and Community Science Library Network, which you're going to hear all about today. And I'll pass it to Claire.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Claire Ratcliffe Adams. My pronouns are she, her, and I am an education associate at the Space Science Institute located in Boulder, Colorado.
Hi, everyone. I'm Roland, tuning in from Lebanon. I'm Quality Assurance Coordinator and Program Coordinator with SciStarter. I also do some development, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, thanks, y'all. So going over our agenda for today, we're going to start with, we already started our introductions. We're going to do a brief icebreaker. Then I'm going to provide you with an introduction to the SEAL project, which is the Solar Eclipse Activities for Libraries project. Give you a little information if you're not familiar with some of the cool work that SSI is doing around the eclipse. Claire's going to give you a brief introduction to citizen science and how it fits into library eclipse programming. Then we're going to be turning that over to our friends from SciStarter, and they're going to be talking all about getting started with citizen science at your library. We'll wrap it up with a little bit of discussion of Eclipse programming ideas and some resources that we're making available to you to think about programming around citizen science in the Eclipse. And then we'll, the very last thing we'll do is share with you some of the upcoming virtual trainings we're doing both at SSI and at SciStarter. And then hopefully we'll have enough time to open up the floor for Q&A if y'all feel so inclined. So let's start out with that icebreaker. So we thought, you know, this citizen science is a really cool, important topic, but not everybody has a ton of familiarity with it. So if you could throw in the chat, what is your relationship right now to citizen science? Are you an expert at citizen science? Have you been participating in a ton of citizen science projects? Are you just getting started? Did you accidentally stumble into this webinar by falling down a rabbit hole? That's an okay option too. Let us know in the chat, where are you at with citizen science? I'm lucky enough I've been working in informal science education for a few years. I've been able to participate in some citizen science projects at different museums and libraries. It's a topic I'm really passionate about. So we've got some answers coming into the chat. We've got some people who are just getting started. Kim W said minimal experience, but I've enjoyed making contributions through iNaturalist, a fantastic citizen science app. Lots of newbies just getting started. Jorge first learned about citizen science with SETI at home a long time ago. Not a participant landing, want to know more. That's another great, fantastic citizen science program. Lots of people just getting started. Oh, I'm so excited. That means we got tons of information to throw at you, and it's not going to be new. That's always really exciting. Lots of just getting started. Fantastic. Somebody has participated with the Great Backyard Bird Count, a really fantastic project. Dale Morgan is an environmental educator at their library and has done many citizen science projects. That's great. Janet has done nature walks and worked with Cornell Labs to identify migratory birds. Fantastic. Birding is one of my favorite citizen science kind of themes. It's always a great way to get people outdoors and thinking about the world around them, and birds are such a good indicator of seasonality and environmental health. So I'm glad to see some bird bird folks chiming in the chat right now. All right, awesome. Ooh, we got monarch butterfly tagging, stall catcher programs. So, all right, so we've got a range of comfort levels with citizen science. We're going to be talking a little bit later about ways to connect with each other through the StarNet community website. So hopefully some of y'all who are a little more experienced will be able to get on that board and maybe talk with other people who aren't and share some experiences y'all have had. So I thought I would start out with an explanation of what the SEAL project is. So the SEAL project is an overarching project that's building on work that SSI did in 2017 for the Great American Eclipse. And so we are doing a ton of cool work focusing on getting libraries resources for both the 2023 annular eclipse in October this year and the total eclipse that'll be in April of 2024. And to do that, we are providing free eclipse classes for libraries up to 2,000 per application. And by the way, all the information about this SEAL project, Beatrice Chavez is from SSI providing some chat support. And Beatrice just put a link in the chat to our Getting Started with SEAL blog post. So if you, I know I'm going to be skimming through this pretty quick. So if you want to check out some of this information later, all of the links we're going to be talking about today are available in that blog post that Beatrice is throwing in the chat. So like I said, we're going to be providing free Eclipse classes up to 2,000 per application through our SurveyMonkey application. That application will also get you registered for our SEAL newsletter, as well as, oh, there goes my office manager. It'll get you registered for our SEAL newsletter, as well as our StarNet community site, and specifically the Eclipse group, where we have tons of discussions and cool things going on, and we're sharing all the time. So we're also doing in-person trainings in all 50 states and 4 territories. We've started those. If you're interested in attending one of those, contact your state library, as they are coordinating all of the in-person workshops in all 50 states. We're also recording training videos and doing virtual workshops, just like the one you're in now. And we'll be talking about this a little later. We're circulating solar science kits to all state libraries with solar telescopes, books, and hands-on activities all about solar science and eclipse science. We're also going to be providing access to scientists, volunteers, eclipse subject matter experts, and other librarians to that StarNet online community site. So getting started, if you can either follow the link that Beatrice has been putting in the chat. If you're watching this recording a little later, or you just happen to have your phone open, this is the QR code that'll lead you, you can scan with your phone and it'll lead you right to that Getting Started with SEAL blog post. Here we have that SEAL resources blog. You want to register for, like I said, for those classes, which will get you on our newsletter mailing list, as well as the link in that Getting Started with SEAL blog post. Is a link to our FAQ webinar that we did several months ago that has a lot more explanation about eclipse science and the SEAL project in general. We're hosting a monthly Getting Started with SEAL webinars. We did some at the beginning of the year. We have a recording that we've also linked to on our YouTube channel and is on that blog post. And we are hosting, if you are just getting started with SEAL and you've maybe signed up because you're interested in citizen science and it's Citizen Science Month, and want to know more about the SEAL project, we are having monthly Getting Started with SEAL webinars in May through August. So we also have those you can register for, and the registration link is also in that blog post. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this along to Claire, talk a little bit about some definitions around citizen science and how it relates to libraries.
Thanks, Dylan. Yeah, so if you're just getting started with citizen science, you might have some questions about what we mean when we use that term. But this is sort of a definition that I stole from SciStarter, our partners here today. But essentially, it is a global movement. This is a way to connect with people all around the world that enables people from all walks of life, anytime, anywhere, to participate in real scientific research by making and sharing observations with scientists. It's a way that people can make an impact on issues they care about. So later you'll hear from SciStarter about their database of projects. So even if after the eclipses, you're interested in doing more, there's all types of topics and projects you can get involved with. There's tools that you can use, and then you'll actually be sending off the data that you're collecting to real scientists who are going to use that to further our understanding of different aspects of our world. Next slide. Yeah, so just kind of a few more details here. So citizen science is a collaboration between scientists and those of us who are curious, concerned, and motivated to make a difference. So again, all walks of life. You can be a group of third graders interested in water quality and work with your teacher to collect data that will then be sent to scientists. Or you could be a group of folks at a public library program with something that is a topic that is a concern to your community, and you can get involved with how to collect data and give it to scientists to help find solutions for any of the problems that your communities might face. Citizen science really is a way to encourage people to participate in the scientific process. So most of the citizen science projects that you can become involved with are all about asking questions, making observations, conducting experiments, and actually collecting data that you can share with scientists. It's a way that the members of the public can help advance scientific knowledge and benefit society. So it's a really fun, interactive way. And again, there are thousands of different projects from around the world that you can get involved with. So this term, I just want to pause for a moment and talk about this term citizen science. Now, this is a term that has been used for a long time, and it is well known in the scientific community. So this term itself is not going away. But when you are thinking about your library programs and promoting citizen science projects to your community, maybe pause and reflect on if that is the best term for your community. There are certain connotations with that term citizen. And if you are a library, maybe on a border state, or you have your sanctuary city, or you have a lot of immigrants coming into your community and using your library services, that term can maybe turn some people off and maybe think this isn't a program meant for me. So just consider alternative terms when you're promoting your programs, when you're creating your flyers. But some of the other terms that are also well known within this type of work is community science, neighborhood data collection, or crowdsourced science. So, you know, just again, as a way to really think inclusively about your community and who you want to bring into your programs, just take a moment and pause on this term and if it's the best for your community.
Thanks so much, Claire. Really appreciate that. Oh, sorry, Claire.
Sorry, I do have a couple more slides.
Oh, okay. Then I will I'll let you keep going.
Sorry. Could have said next slide. So citizen science and solar eclipses. Honestly, I didn't even realize there was citizen science that could be done with solar eclipses until recently. So I want to talk for a moment about what the connection is and how you can become involved. So next slide, please. So if you aren't aware, there are 2 eclipses coming up. There's an annular solar eclipse on October 14th of this year. And you can see there, that's the path of annularity. And that's where the sun doesn't completely block out the sun. It almost does, but it leaves a little ring around it. That's what annular means. It means ring. So the path for annularity kind of starts up in the northwest of our country, goes down through and ends through Texas. On April 8th, 2024, we are going to be able to view a total solar eclipse from our country. So the path of totality starts down in Mexico and it swoops up towards the northeast, ending in Maine. So these are really amazing big events. You probably are already aware and already are planning for them, especially if you're in those paths of totality. But the exciting thing is the annular eclipse in October. At least a partial will be visible across our entire country, no matter what state you're in, including Alaska. And the total eclipse in April, our continental US folks in every single state will be able to witness at least a partial solar eclipse. So as I was talking about with citizen science before, it's a way to connect with not only your community, but the national community, the global community. It's a way to really rally and come together as humans, you know, experiencing life on this planet. And the same thing is true with the eclipses. This is a huge event. Everyone in the country will be able to observe it, at least a partial. So it's another way to really feel connected with our fellow citizens, with our fellow communities throughout the United States. where we can view the eclipses in the upcoming years. So there is a really great tie-in of just like feeling connected through an event such as the eclipse and doing some citizen science. So some of the citizen science projects, many of them, you do not need to be in the path of totality to participate in them. These are things like collecting temperature data, collecting audio data, what happens to the environment around us when the sun goes away for a few minutes. All kinds of things happen. Plants actually stop photosynthesizing for a brief amount of time. Animal behavior changes. So scientists are really wanting to understand more about what happens during the eclipse, and to have people from all over the country collect data and send it to them. It will give them a much bigger picture of what is going on and the impacts eclipses have on our environment and our animals. The next slide, please. This is my last slide just to tell you more about the eclipses. If you are interested in what you will actually be seeing for the annular and total eclipse at your location, you can go to greatamericaneclipse.com. That will give you maps, or go to timeanddate.com. That will give you specific times of when totality or annularity will occur and what percentage you will see. So that is down even to the second. It can give you a prediction of what you will expect to experience on those days. 4 minutes this year, or in 2024, is the maximum amount of time for totality, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but for the 2017 Great American Eclipse, maximum totality was only about 2 minutes. So this is almost double what we experienced in 2017. So scientists are really excited to collect this data and understand what is happening during these eclipses. You can also visit www.scigames.org/eclipse. We've put together interactive maps and information about the time of day that you can experience these eclipses based on your location. So I think all you need is a zip code and you'll find all kinds of information. But yeah, I just wanted to make that little connection between citizen science and eclipses. I'm now going to turn it over to Tara to talk a little bit more about SciStarter and this resource you have for getting started with citizen science.
Thanks so much, Claire. And my sister's lives in Austin, Texas, and she said everything is already booked for the 2 eclipses. So if you are planning on traveling, get your hotel now. It's going to be really exciting. So I want to tell you a little bit about the National Citizen and Community Science Library Network, which is a collaboration with SciStarter, Arizona State University, and National Girls Collaborative Project. Thank you, Roland, for putting that in the chat. Please sign up for the network. Let me put the direct link to the sign up in the chat as well. We have newsletters that go out with all kinds of resources. There's some funding opportunities for developing resources and programs around citizen science that we often promote through the network. And we have tons of webinars, and we are constantly developing new things for libraries. Everything is open source, everything is free, and we just really encourage you to join. So we are a growing network of libraries and other community-based organizations that are dedicated to becoming community hubs for citizen science. What we mean by this is a place where your community has access to resources, to introductions to citizen science, to books, and even kits with citizen science materials to help make that citizen science more accessible. Right? A lot of people may not have heard of citizen science, but libraries are trusted resources. So we are hoping that libraries really join us in this effort to expand the diverse communities doing citizen science. That's one of the most important things about citizen science, is the idea that anybody can do it, and it's really broadening our perspective around who contributes to science. Next slide, please. So at SciStarter, which is your go-to destination for all things citizen science, you will find over 3,000 projects that you can search to discover projects that you may want to contribute to, or projects that your community is interested in. So we really encourage you, you can actually add a SciStarter widget to your library's website so that to help promote citizen science that way. That's just one simple way that you can become a community hub. and encourage your audience to create a SciStarter account. Again, it's all free, and then go and search projects. So there are projects that you can do online. There are projects that you can do right in your community. Some projects are extremely local. You can go and search by all of these various, thank you, Roland, for putting the widget there. You could search by all these various topics. You know, as Claire mentioned, citizen science is not your average STEM program. While it is great for youth and you can find lots of citizen science projects that youth can participate in, it really is an adult experience. And so going and looking and promoting it with your adult audiences is a really great way to expand your STEM programming. It's also great for youth, and we have a ton of resources for building out programming around citizen science. That's not just doing the project, but really engaging children in that scientific process. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, this project finder is a great place to start looking for projects, but we really encourage you to ask your community what topics interest them. So on SciStarter, we actually have a sample community public survey that you can use, host a listening session, talk to local civic leaders and scientists and other citizen scientists about things that are going on in your community to make it relevant, to make it meaningful. Obviously, there's a ton of projects around the eclipse, but as Claire mentioned, there's also projects that aren't necessarily directly about the eclipse that tie in really well with citizen science. There's a lot of NASA projects that help you think about the sun and think about the sky and making those observations, kind of practicing those skills even before the eclipse happens. So you can kind of round out your programming. And we're going to have some follow-up webinars specifically dedicated to developing programs around citizen science. So we're just giving you a little bit of an intro now, but the series that Dylan and Claire are facilitating is going to go deeper into some of these areas. Next slide, please. So where do you start? These are two really good places to start with what is citizen science. So these are online training tutorials. They are self-guided. The first one is for anybody, for your library staff and for your patrons. It is a training that you can take on your own time, and you can get a little badge on LinkedIn once you've completed the training, and it goes through the foundations of citizen science. What does citizen science mean? What are some of the skills that you need to be a good citizen scientist? How does it help contribute to acceleration of important scientific research? And then part 2 of the training is specifically for libraries and how to become a community hub for citizen science. How do you host events? How do you promote and introduce citizen science with your community? So we really encourage you to take these 2 trainings. There are additional trainings as well. There's a data literacy training. We're trying to build out these self-guided trainings so that you can take it on your own time and that it can really be scaled across your community and your network. Lastly, I just wanted to mention the citizen science kits. This is one of the core components of libraries becoming community hubs for citizen science. Most citizen science projects don't require specialized tools, but some do. And one of the things that libraries are doing are building these kits so that they can become those community hubs for citizen science and make doing projects more accessible. So for example, you'll see an example here of the Exploring Biodiversity Kit. So we have built out pages on SciStarter with links to all the materials you might need to build a kit with pricing, with suggestions for supplementary activities, for events around these kits, how to really promote them. We also have turnkey marketing materials like bookmarks and posters that you can put out, rack cards, so that your audience and your patrons will know, your library users will know that you have these kits. They're all customizable so that you can download things and make them your own. But this is an example of the Exploring Biodiversity Kit, which pairs nicely with the iNaturalist project, which some of you may have done in your own time. It's an app, and you go out and you collect images of nature and submit it back so that there's this growing database of images that scientists can use to be able to tell what's going on in their local flora and fauna. And in this kit, we suggest including a lens that you can attach to a smartphone to be able to take close-up images of that flora and fauna. Some of the other kits that we currently have kit guides for are the Measuring Light in the Night kit. There's an Observing Pollinators kit, which is super popular, an air quality kit. So to check out these kits, we often see libraries using LSTA funding to be able to purchase these kits and build these kits for the libraries, as well as local Rotary clubs and other funding sources, particularly around STEM. Oh, so Dale says, my library has the Health Waterways kit and Observing Pollinators kit. Wonderful. So I'm going to be on the line, throughout this webinar if you have questions about the SciStarter Library Network resources, but we will have some follow-ups to do deeper dives on the kits, on events, and we have one coming up on pollinators next week. So stay tuned. Back to you, Dylan.
Thank you so much, Tara. So SciStarter is a great place, especially those virtual training modules, to get your feet wet, get started thinking about citizen science and what is available out there. And especially when we start thinking about the eclipses and what you can do for the eclipses, SEAL and SSI is providing a ton of stuff for y'all to think about things around citizen science and the eclipse as well. So some programming resources, and we're going to be going a lot more into detail in our next webinar in just a couple weeks on the 25th. Which is all about programming around citizen science and the eclipse, but we're going to give you a little taste of what's available right now. So the big one is the StarNet STEM Activity Clearinghouse. This is a repository much like SciStarter's repository of citizen science projects. This is a directory of over 500 vetted STEAM and STEM activities for libraries that are pretty much ready to go out of the box. That's at clearinghouse.starnetlibraries.org, and that link is also in the Getting Started with SEAL blog post that Beatrice has been putting in the chat. We have not only do we have these activities listed on there, we have really robust search capabilities on there. You can filter by age group, by preparation time, by materials cost, by subject. We also have on that clearinghouse a series of collections that we put together for different projects and around different themes. And we do have a SEAL solar eclipse activities for libraries collection on the clearinghouse that's got both activities from other informal education networks like the NiceNet network or Universe of Learning. We've also developed some really cool activities all around the eclipse ourselves, including some really cool stuff about how to build a pizza box solar oven or make a projection eclipse viewer out of any cardboard box. And a lot of those have how-to videos, step-by-step facilitation guides, full color photo instructions on how to create those activities and crafts, as well as just really, as well as links to WorldCat listings of related books. And we know one of the things that's really great about both citizen science and the eclipse, it ties really well together with this year's summer reading theme of All Together Now. The eclipse and citizen science are both examples of how to bring communities together, do things together, and the eclipse, like Claire was saying earlier, the eclipse and citizen science are both examples of how to connect yourself with people in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and really do really cool work, participate in things that are have a global reach. So we also have the StarNet Eclipse community site. If you register for those free Eclipse classes, you'll be automatically enrolled on this Eclipse community site. I'm affectionately calling it Facebook. It's basically our own social media site for librarians to share ideas around the eclipse, their programming, different things, ask each other questions, and we're also posting a ton of information to there. And it's also a great way. We have eclipse experts, astronomers and solar science experts who are participating in that community as well, talking with librarians, sharing out their work and information, answering questions. Just a really great place to find cool, interesting discussions all about libraries and the eclipse. We also have that Steel newsletter, which you will also be automatically signed up for when you register for those classes. If you are interested in getting on that newsletter and you have either somebody else at your library has maybe registered for glasses, or you've gotten glasses from somewhere else and still want to be involved in both the community site and the newsletter, don't hesitate to shoot myself an email. I will throw my email in the chat, and I can direct you to Sky Reed Mills, who is our admin person, and they can get you signed up for all of that good information. We also, I'm going to be talking about this in just a second, we are providing circulation kits of solar science tools, books, and activities at every state library. And those are a really cool way to have some programming both during the eclipse, but also if you want to do some citizen science programming before, between, or after the eclipses. These solar science kits are a really great way to have some programming cool ideas. And like I said, we are going to be going more into depth on programming ideas, walking you through step by step on setting up programming, setting up a citizen science event at our next webinar on April 25th. And the registration link for that and the other webinars we're going to be doing in this series is also in that Getting Started with Steel blog post. So I just want to talk a little bit about these solar science kits, as I think this is a really great, literally out of the box programming idea. In fact, this photo here, we have Claire is sharing is giving some demonstrations of some of our kit materials at one of our in-person workshops. So these solar science kits, we have 2 of them, and each state library is going to be receiving 2 sets of each kit. So they're all available through your state library. Each state library is handling circulation a little different to have these circulation items available from the state library for individual public libraries. So please contact, if you are interested in this, contact your state library, as every state library is handling that circulation a little differently. So we do have those 2 kits, as I mentioned. We have one that we're calling a multi-generational kit for all ages, and then a kit that's a little bit more geared towards younger learners. And each kit consists of a really nice big container with solar science equipment, at least 1 book, and at least 1 hands-on activity. If you have any questions about these afterwards, you can contact our admin person, Sky Reed Mills, and their email is there, sreedmills@spacescience.org. So that multi-generational kit, that's going to be for all ages, and that's going to have a little bit more of the robust solar viewing equipment. We have the container there. We have a Coronado Personal Space Telescope, or Personal Solar Telescope, which is a telescope that is pretty much like a regular telescope, except it's got a solar filter over the lens, so you can look directly at the sun during daytime. So this is great for both viewing during the eclipse, but we've designed these kits to really be more useful before, between, or after the eclipses. They're really great ways of, say, you're doing some programming around the eclipse, maybe doing some fantastic citizen science programming, and you've gotten people excited about solar science. These kits are a really great way to do some programming that kind of helps further explore the sun. As some of these items are actually not even really useful, as we'll talk about in that younger generation, the younger learners that aren't really super useful during the eclipse, but are really great, say, between the eclipses. So we have that Coronado Personal Solar Telescope, a case and a mount for that, a book all about the eclipses called When the Sun Goes Dark, a pair of large, 2 sets of large sunoculars, which are adjustable binoculars that also have solar filters on them for viewing the eclipse, or for viewing the sun, and then a step-by-step guide for an activity called Big Sun, Little Moon. Paula, we have a question on the tab. Can regional or individual libraries purchase these kits? These kits are available for circulation through state libraries. So each state library is receiving 2 copies of each kit. So contact your state library to find out how you can get these kits. But we are not selling these kits, unfortunately. We are only providing them to state libraries for circulation. And Vicki asked, how do I sign up for that April 25th webinar? Beatrice, if you go ahead and throw that, that link once more in the chat to the Getting Started with Steel blog post. The Getting Started with Steel blog post has links to all of our upcoming Steel webinars, including the rest of these in the series, like that April 25th programming webinar. So that second kit, that I was talking about is that kit for younger audiences. This is my personal favorite because it includes this really cool Keplerian style telescope called the SunSpotter. This is a projection telescope that allows you to actually see sunspots and projects an image of the sun and reflects it off a couple of mirrors. And you can put that down onto a piece of paper on the telescope and actually trace sunspots from the telescope. It's a really cool piece of equipment, really fantastic for getting outside. As we're thinking about pairing different citizen science projects with some of this ECLIPSE programming, I think the SunSpotter is a really fantastic example of, say you were going to be doing some birding or some biodiversity citizen science and getting outside anyway. Bringing along the SunSpotter is a really fantastic way of thinking about, like, oh, okay, what animals are we observing? What types of biodiversity are we observing in the citizen science project? And then let's look at the sun, see how much of the sun we can see. Is there, what is the solar activity looking like? And you can take a look at how the environmental factors affect the environment. So I think there's some cool connections there you can make. We also included in this kit have a really fun storybook called Moonbear's Shadow that teaches young learners all about how the sun's movement creates different types of shadows. And we have an accompanying activity that goes along with that will include playmat, flashlight sun, and you get challenge cards so young learners can play around with making their own shadows, understanding how distance from the sun affects the shadows, and that ties directly into the eclipse, as eclipses are created by the moon casting a shadow over the earth from the sun. The kit also includes some mini child-sized sunoculars that are just like the ones in the other kit, but meant for young hands, as well as a cool card sorting game where you sort different celestial objects by how big they are, how hot they are, and how far they are from Earth. So we are ripping through our agenda today. As I was saying, there are some really cool upcoming opportunities for you to learn even more about citizen science in the eclipse. As I was been saying, we have our SEAL Spring Citizen Science virtual training. The next one is going to be on April 25th, and that's going to be really diving in depth about how to do some ECLIPSE programming and incorporate citizen science into that at your library. That's going to be on April 25th. The link to register for that is in that Getting Started with SEAL blog post. And then we have 2 more webinars in this series that are going to be inviting guest speakers from different ECLIPSE citizen science projects to talk a little bit more in depth on how to get started with those specific projects and do some program and how to get your library involved specifically in those citizen science projects. So on May 4th, Star Wars Day, we're going to be working with the NASA Globe Observer program. So I don't know if anybody has used the Globe Observer app. That's an app from NASA that has many citizen science projects on there, like mosquito observations, cloud observations, things like that. They are going to be adding a special ECLIPSE activity to that app for the eclipses, and they're going to be talking all about that on May 4th, as well as sharing some information on how to get in to apply for a kit, a free kit that they will be sending out to select libraries. On a couple weeks after that, on May 16th, we'll be inviting another ECLIPSE citizen science project, the ECLIPSE Soundscapes project, which is all about recording different wildlife and biodiversity sounds during the eclipse, which is really, really cool. And they're going to be coming and talking about how libraries can be involved in that project on May 16th. And if you can't make any of these, don't worry, we are going to be recording all of them just like the one today. And we're going to be posting all of these webinars to the StarNet Library YouTube page, which is also linked in the Getting Started with SEAL blog post. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep up with all of these webinars, even if you can't make them in person. If this is your first exposure to SEAL and you want to find out more about SEAL, maybe learn a bit more about what's in those solar science circulation kits, find out more about registering for glasses and what other opportunities and resources are available through the SEAL project, we are hosting monthly Getting Started with SEAL webinars. We have registrations open for May, June, July, and August right now, and we'll be adding more most likely later in the year. So the links to register for those are available in that Getting Started with SEAL blog post, as well as on the StarNet webinar page on starnetlibraries.org. And if you can't attend any of those events live, we did record one of the ones we did earlier in the year, and that's also on our YouTube channel if you wanted to check that out. We have just decided we're going to be doing, I know that one of the things coming up is, if you've never hosted this kind of a large, this is going to be a huge, very high interest event in the eclipses. I was, during the 2017 eclipse, I was at a small natural history museum, and we were expecting maybe like 150 attendees for our event, and we ended up getting, I think, about 500 at our small, tiny natural history museum in Providence, Rhode Island, for that 2017 eclipse. So what we're going to be doing in September is about a month out from that first annular eclipse. We're going to be inviting for some feedback and advice from librarians who participated in 2017 eclipse programming. And we're going to be having a webinar all about what to expect on Eclipse Day, how to prepare your library, what resources they have, things 2017 eclipse librarians had wished they'd known. So we haven't set a date for that one yet, but keep an eye. The best way to keep in touch with us is signing up for that Seal newsletter, and we'll be announcing when that webinar is available through there. And I believe, as Tara was saying earlier, they're having a Pollinator Palooza Citizen Science event. Tara, do you want to talk a little bit more about this one?
Yes. Yes, so you can find that on scistarter.org/events. That's where all of the Citizen Science Month events are. Actually, the Citizen Science Month page is a really good place to check out all of the different events that are happening right now for Citizen Science Month. But this one is specifically on how to host a pollinator event. There are some very popular citizen science projects like the Great Sunflower Project and the iNaturalist Project that focus on pollinators. And many libraries are building community gardens and doing a lot of different things around pollination. So this is all about how to host an event and what resources SciStarter provides for your pollinator event. There's going to be a pollinator expert coming as well to talk a little bit about the science behind pollination and why it's such an important topic for all of us globally to be thinking about. Yes, so check out that citizensciencemonth.org site for all your Citizen Science Month events this year, and you can use those and promote those with your communities as well. You can, many of the events are not just for libraries, but for the general public, so check that out.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. Thanks for our guest friends from SciStarter for sharing out some of this great information. I wanted to address some questions that came up in the chat, and then I'll open up the floor for people to unmute and ask questions. Or if you do have any questions and don't want to mute, go ahead and throw questions in the chat, and we'll answer them as they come in. So we do have some questions. Do the state libraries have the kits now? We have started sending out the kits to 2 state libraries. I believe we are about halfway through our list as we're sending them out. We're trying to get them out as we're doing the in-state workshops to make sure that they're there before we do those. So if you have an upcoming workshop from SSI and the SEAL project, you most likely have that kit available. But contact your state library as they have all the information about how those kits are going to be distributed and whether or not they have them yet. Oh, never mind. Claire actually already put in the chat. Colorado, New Mexico, New York, Ohio, Alaska, Washington, Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, Ohio, and Florida have their kits already. So we also had, I wanted to point out, Vicki had mentioned, don't forget local NASA ambassadors. That's very true. We have solar system ambassadors as well as the Night Sky Network, which is a network of astronomy clubs and groups of solar science and space science enthusiasts. And they are really fantastic resources for maybe getting some guest speakers, getting some partners together to host some programming. We have links to both the Solar System Ambassadors website and the Night Sky Network in our Getting Started with SEAL blog post. We are also recruiting and vetting specifically solar science experts and eclipse experts for the eclipse through SSI and the SEAL project. And we're going to be releasing some information soon about how to get in contact with those as we are getting those experts vetted, and we're going to be doing some training with them for them to help you specifically about the eclipse. So sign up for the SEAL newsletter. That we'll be releasing information through there about how to get one of those Eclipse-specific experts at your library programs as well. I want to emphasize, Claire put in the chat, I know we had a question earlier about purchasing these kits. We do have a list of all the components of the kits and everything we put in there, and the link for that is in the chat as well. So if you do want to acquire some of these items, either in totality, either the totality of what's in the kit, or just one or two of the items, all of those components are listed in that link to the document that Claire put in the chat. And I believe, is that all the questions I saw in the chat? Oh, Brenda was asking about, will the April 25th webinar offer some suggestions for programming content? That is the entire theme of the April 25th webinar, is we are going to be walking you through step-by-step of, okay, I'm kind of interested in citizen science. I want to do something at my library related to the Eclipse and maybe incorporate some citizen science, but I have no idea how to do that. That's what the April 25th webinar is going to be all about. We're going to be walking you through step-by-step how to get some partners involved, how to contact maybe an expert or a guest speaker, really fantastic activities and where to find them, and how to incorporate some programming ideas of some stuff like, hey, I'm going to be setting up one of these Eclipse citizen science projects where I have to set up a sound recorder in a tree and do that outside. What are some programming I could do that would be outside and maybe work between maybe a story time event and then this setting up this Eclipse recorder? What are some outdoor activities I could do that would tie in thematically with those events? That's all the stuff we're going to be covering on April 25th. Rachel, you said you missed the beginning of this webinar. Could you speak on the glasses again? Absolutely. So at that Getting Started with SEAL blog post, you'll see a link to register for your free Eclipse glasses. We are providing up to 2,000 glasses per library application through the SEAL program. Claire just put the direct link to that registration in there. And so right now, if you sign up for the SEAL project and register for those Eclipse glasses, you'll be eligible to receive up to 2,000 glasses, Eclipse glasses for free for your library, as well as be signed up for our newsletter and registered for our community site on starnetlibraries.org, where we will be, we have an Eclipse group, kind of like a Facebook group, where librarians, solar science experts, us at SSI, folks from all over the informal science education sphere can share information, programming ideas, ask each other questions, and keep abreast with what's going on with the SEAL project and Eclipse news coming up. So highly recommend registering for those classes and checking out those that Eclipse site. So I'll open up the floor now. We got about 10 minutes left. Does anybody have any specific questions about what citizen science, stuff we've covered today, my social security number and mother's maiden name, any information y'all want to know, please go ahead and unmute or throw that question in the chat.
Do you have a book list for libraries?
Do we have a specific Eclipse library book list, Claire?
So that's a really great question. We have, there is a media list. Let me find the chat for that. And these are actually fiction. It's a list of fiction books relating to the Eclipse, also music, art. So I'll put that in the chat. But in the kit link that I put in there, that has the books that we included in those kits. I am in the process of creating a new book list for a different project, which if you're interested in getting once that's complete, and that'll include nonfiction books as well. Just feel free to reach out to me. I'm putting my email in the chat. And I will find the link that we have that has fiction books related to eclipses, and I'll put that in the chat.
If you happen to check out the STEM Activity Clearinghouse too, the STEM Activity Clearinghouse, many of the activities listed on the STEM Activity Clearinghouse on the page itself. In fact, I can screen share and show you. So this is the STEM Activity Clearinghouse listing for one of the actually one of the projects we're going to be talking about at one of the upcoming webinars, the Eclipse Downstage project. So this has a link to open up the activity. You can see here's all the metadata tags that you have that you can filter by. But if you go down to related programming resources, many of our STEM Activity Clearinghouse activities actually have a whole section down here called related books, where we've listed different books that we think are relevant to that particular activity. And when you follow those, it takes you to the WorldCat listings for that particular book. And at least it would if my internet was working right now. Yeah, as you can see, so there, while we have a couple of ways. We have that media list and connections to kind of cultural stuff that Andrew Fracknoy put together, a link to which is in the Getting Started with Steel blog post. And then we also have those related books links on the STEM Activity Clearinghouse pages for each one of those, for a lot of those activities. So that's a good one. Those are a couple ways to find some related books for you.
We have
and
some
Claire just put,
lists as well. I was going to say we have some book lists as well on the Citizen Science Month resources page. If you go down, there's a citizen science, just a general citizen science book list, an astronomy book list, and a pollinators book list, and they are also designed so you can download them and add to them, and you can actually display those for your patrons, as well as you know, buy them and display them for citizen science.
Jorge asks, is the glasses giveaway per library branch or per library system? We have about 28 branches scattered across the city. So we are asking every library who wants to host programming to fill out their own application for an individual branch. If you are perhaps, I know that some, especially larger city branches or city systems, have maybe one single education coordinator. Go ahead and fill out an application and then email Sky Reed Mills, who I put their email in the chat a few times, but I'll go ahead and do it again. Sky is handling all the distribution of the glasses for everything, and they can work with you to amend your application, figure out how to get some more glasses you are ordering for a branch. But it is much easier for a system, but it is much easier for each branch, if they're thinking about hosting, to order glasses for their particular brand. One other thing to note is that we are asking everybody, if they're ordering glasses, to order enough for both Eclipse events. So it is first come, first serve. So even if you are more in the path of totality than annularity, go ahead and get your application in for those glasses now, even though the event isn't until next April, as we're going to have tons of people who are going to be in the path of annularity ordering the glasses. And while we have millions, we are filling them as they come. And there's no guarantee that, especially after that first Eclipse event, we're going to have tons left over for first-time applicants. So get that application in now. The other incentive for y'all to get that application in now for each individual branch that wants to host Eclipse programming, get those free glasses, is, like I said earlier, it does get you automatically signed up for our newsletter and that Eclipse community site, where we'll be sharing tons of information that you really, really will want to get your hands on, even if you're not planning on doing anything for the October Eclipse. Rachel, yep, the glasses are reusable. And like I said, because we're asking you to order them for both, you can either set some aside for the second event, or we also have an activity on the STEM Activity Clearinghouse that is how to make a printable, design yourself glasses storer. So you can actually have a whole activity about making an Eclipse glasses storage envelope that is printable and designable for your patrons to store their glasses themselves or at your library between eclipses. All right, I think I've gotten have I missed any of these questions in the chat? Doesn't look like it. All right, does anybody have any more questions? Need us to put another link back in the chat if they missed it the first time around? And Carolyn has just put a link in the chat to an evaluation survey. Please let us know what you thought of today's event. If you feel so inclined, we really appreciate your feedback as it helps us keep these webinars relevant to you and libraries who need it.
Someone asked for the link for the activity for making Eclipse classes storage envelope. I have that. I will put that in the chat. Find that. This activity is not on the clearinghouse yet, but it will be soon, but I do have a link for it. And in about a month or two, we will also have the same activity with Spanish instructions. If you want to reach out to us for Spanish version, just let me know. And we'll get that to you when that's complete.
Okay, excellent. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming today, and thanks to our friends at SciStarter for hosting this event with us. I'm putting my email in the chat once again. If you have any follow-up questions, want any information about our upcoming webinars, or anything at all, please go ahead and shoot me an email, and I will be happy to point you in the right direction or to source some information if you need it. So thanks again for joining us today. Thanks, Claire, Tara, Roland for helping us out. Thanks to our interpreters for writing such great captions and interpretation services today. Thanks for helping us make these webinars accessible, which is so important. And thank you all for participating today and joining us. I hope that we kind of wet your whistle for some citizen science programming, and we look forward to seeing you at the rest of these citizen science webinars and all of our cool upcoming Eclipse program we've got coming down the pike in the next 6 months. So I'll stay on the line for a few more minutes in case anybody has any further questions that come to mind. But other than that, have a great rest of your day, everyone. And thanks again for joining us.